One word to describe Caitlin Clark.
Amazing. A beast. She is the truth.
It's intense. Caitlin Clark is off that shit now. She let it all slide the first year. They was pushing her and all that. She like, you know what?
I'm in here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here. And this is what it's gonna be this year.
Caitlin Clark finally stood up for herself. No more staying quiet.
There's hype and then there's real impact. Most rookies step into the league quietly, easing their way in, learning the rhythm, and hoping to earn respect. But Caitlin Clark, she tore up that script from the first tip-off. She played with swagger, confidence, and zero hesitation. Her game demands attention, whether it's a deep three that feels personal or a no-look pass only she could see. Clark never waited for the spotlight. She took it, and that boldness caught the eye of one NBA legend, Larry Bird, known for choosing his words carefully. Bird rarely makes public statements, but this season, he made one thing clear. He sees Caitlin Clark, and what she's doing isn't just impressive, it's historic. When Larry Bird speaks, the basketball world listens, and his praise isn't just about a good rookie year, it's about a player who's rewriting the women's game in real time. Clark has already shifted the landscape. Her presence on the court has turned into must-see basketball, drawing recognition from Hall of Fame coaches, former All-Stars, and now NBA greats. She isn't just sparking conversation, she's commanding it. Clark's rise isn't a passing moment, it's a movement. She's not simply riding a wave of hype. She is the wave of force of nature who electrifies arenas and redefines what's possible every time she steps onto the floor. Some call her the future of basketball. Others argue she's already the best show in the sport. Either way, one thing is certain, this isn't just a hot start, it's history unfolding. Even before the records, the triple-doubles, or the chase for three-point milestones, Clark achieved something rare. She made people care, not just fans, but the biggest voices shaping the narrative of sports. And when Stephen A., the loudest and most influential commentator in basketball, goes out of his way to spotlight Caitlin Clark, it's not just another clip in your feed, it's a moment that matters, because Caitlin Clark isn't simply arriving, she's transforming the game before our eyes.
I totally applaud what Caitlin Clark is doing. She's putting the WNBA first. She's saying, yo, we matter first to me. We should matter first to the ladies.
He's one of the most outspoken voices in sports media, sharp, unfiltered, and never afraid to call things as they are. So when he doesn't just defend Caitlin Clark but openly celebrates her, it means something. And he's not praising her 4 points or flashy highlights. He's pointing to something bigger, her vision and her priorities. Clark isn't just playing basketball. She's reshaping how it's viewed. Every time she steps into a press conference, she makes it clear, women's basketball isn't an afterthought. It's the show. She delivers that message with calm confidence. And people are listening. On the floor, every pass, every shot, every word builds the same message. She's not only here for herself, she's here to carry the league forward. The NBA media sees it. And now, the rest of the world is catching on. That's why comparisons to Magic Johnson carry so much weight. Magic wasn't just a star. He transformed the NBA. His passing, his presence, his charisma changed the way the game was played and the way it was talked about. So when Magic looks at Caitlin Clark and says she's doing the same thing for the women's game, that's not just a compliment, that's a crown.
Joy, I love it because, to your point, they dominated in college. And
as you both did.
Yes. And then they brought it over to the WNBA, just like we brought it to the NBA. We changed the NBA, they changed the WNBA.
Yeah.
When a Hall of Famer speaks, people pay attention, and this one isn't just praising Caitlin Clark's skills, he's placing her impact alongside what he and Larry Bird once did for the NBA. That's a comparison you don't make casually. Magic Johnson sees how Clark handles the spotlight as if it's stitched into her jersey. He sees how her presence doesn't just energize a team, it sparks an entire league. Clark is helping transform women's basketball into a movement, drawing new fans, bigger crowds, more revenue, and the kind of momentum the WNBA has been waiting for. And when Magic Johnson connects her influence today with the revolution that reshaped basketball in the 1980s, that's not just respect, that's history, acknowledging history in real time. And it doesn't stop there. What do you do when one of the greatest coaches the sport has ever known says he would have loved to coach you? You listen. Coach K isn't just a Hall of Fame coach. He's the standard: 5 national championships, 3 Olympic gold medals, and a track record of molding more NBA lottery picks than most college programs can dream of. He's coached LeBron, Kobe, Durant, Curry, the biggest names in the game. And now, when he looks at Caitlin Clark, sees something just as rare, something so special, he'd build a team around her in a heartbeat.
Yeah, well, she's terrific. And it'd be easy to build something on her because she's very young. The best thing she does is pass. She's a magical passer, and She has a great feel for the game. So, I mean, what her coach did, I would have done exactly what she did. Make sure she handles the ball a lot, and she'll make everybody better.
The scoring speaks for itself. Deep threes from the logo. Impossible shots falling with ease. But what grabs Coach K's attention isn't just the buckets. It's the way Caitlin Clark sees the floor, her passing, her control of the game, the ability to dictate tempo without ever forcing it. He calls her a magical passer, and that word matters. It's not just about racking up assists. It's about vision, anticipation, and timing, the kind of instincts that don't show up in the box score, but separate winners from everyone else. Clark doesn't just make the right play, she sees it before it exists. She's not simply running an offense. She's elevating everyone inside of it. And when a coach who's spent decades guiding the greatest minds in basketball says, I would have done exactly what she did, that's more than approval. That's Coach K recognizing her as a leader, a connector, and a generational basketball IQ wrapped into one player. And then, there are the voices of today's stars. In a game full of highlight reels, scripted interviews, and sound bites built for social media, sometimes the shortest answers say the most Luka Doncic MVP candidate, perennial WNBA talent, and one of the toughest covers in basketball. Doesn't waste words. He doesn't perform for the cameras, so when he was asked, point blank, who his favorite women's basketball player is, he didn't pause, he didn't need to.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
That was it. That's all Luka needed to say, and honestly, it felt like the most Luka response possible. Short, real, and straight to the point, because real ones recognize real. Luka knows what it takes to carry expectations from day one. To walk into a league already under pressure and still dictate the game on your own terms. So when he looks at Caitlin Clark, he doesn't just see talent, he sees command, the same command that defines his own style of play. He's not breaking down film. He's not on a WNBA panel. He's just giving a name straight from the top of his mind, and that's what makes it hit harder. There are countless ways to call someone great, but when a player like Luka, whose own brilliance comes from feel and instinct, offers up Clark's name instantly, it carries more weight. It means she's not just popular, she's respected by the very best in the game. It shows her game, translates her swagger and skill, aren't confined to the college stage or the WNBA floor. They resonate with players who dominate at the highest level every single night. In just a few words, Luka let the world know that Caitlin Clark isn't simply making noise. She's already got the game's elite watching closely, and that's when you realize she's broken through, because now, her name isn't only being mentioned next to basketball icons, but cultural giants. Colin Cowherd doesn't throw around comparisons lightly. He doesn't chase hot takes. He builds narratives, tying athletes to something bigger than sports. So when he rattles off names like Tiger Woods, LeBron James, and Taylor Swift, he's not just talking about success, he's talking about cultural impact, about people who didn't just dominate their field, but redefined how the world viewed it. And without hesitation, he added Caitlin Clark to that list.
Angel Reese is a good player. She's not a phenomenon. Tiger was. LeBron was. Taylor Swift is. Caitlin Clark is.
This isn't a slight at Angel Reese, it's a reflection of just how rare Caitlin Clark truly is. Phenoms don't come around often. They're the ones who move ratings, sell out arenas, crash ticket sites, and turn a random Tuesday night game into must-watch television. That's what Clark is doing, not just for the WNBA, but for the sport as a whole. She's not waiting for the league to adjust, she's pulling it forward herself. And when Colin Cowherd puts her name in the same breath as Tiger Woods and LeBron James, he's not pointing to what she could be, he's pointing to presence. Caitlin Clark doesn't just have the spotlight, she is the spotlight. But with that light comes weight. Being the one means every move is dissected, every decision magnified. Clark plays with edge and fire, and that's part of what makes her magnetic. Yet, as Michael Thompson notes, carrying the unofficial title of face of the league paints a bigger target on her back, and sometimes that pressure doesn't just come from opponents, it comes from the system around her.
That flagrant foul that she committed the other day, I thought it was a hard foul. I didn't think it was a flagrant foul, but I think they do that, Dan, because they overreact to everything Caitlin does. Is they don't want to show like they're showing any favoritism to her. So we got to upgrade it to a flagrant foul, because if we don't, then people say, well, we're protecting her by not upgrading it to a flagrant foul. So I think that's why the referees overreacted in that play.
This isn't just any voice weighing in. It's a former NBA champion, the father of an All-Star, echoing what many have already noticed. Caitlin Clark is under a microscope. The spotlight she's earned doesn't just highlight her talent, it magnifies every move she makes, and in the effort to avoid looking biased, some are overcorrecting, creating bias in the other direction. She's being judged on a different scale, not just by critics, but by officials. Yet Clark keeps showing up, carrying that weight as if it's part of her pregame routine, because when you're shifting the culture, not everyone knows how to react, but Caitlin does. She just keeps playing. And then there's Jeff Teague. No filters, no polish, no media training. He doesn't soften his words or dress them up. He just says what he thinks. So when Caitlin Clark becomes the topic, Teague doesn't code switch or sugarcoat. He tells it exactly how he sees it.
Like, if you being real, what do Angel Reese get that Caitlin Clark don't get? Why would she hate her?
Let's be real. What does Angel Reese have that Caitlin Clark is about to get? Why would she hate her? That's Jeff Teague. Cutting straight to the heart of the conversation, he's not trying to stir up drama or force a rivalry. He's addressing the obvious, the tension, the comparisons, and the way two young stars who should be building the future of women's basketball, side by side, keep getting framed as enemies in a storyline they never asked for. Teague's point goes beyond names. He's calling out the double standard, how every headline gets turned into a battle, how success for one is painted as loss for the other. And through it all, Caitlin Clark just keeps doing what she always does, showing up, playing her game, and catching criticism for simply being great at it. Teague isn't taking shots at Angel Reese. He's questioning the hate. Why is it that when Clark gets attention she's clearly earned? It so often comes with resentment instead of recognition. The truth is, nothing is being handed to her. She's earning every headline with logo-range threes, pinpoint assists, and sold-out arenas. And Jeff knows it. That's why he doesn't hedge, doesn't sugarcoat, he just keeps it real. Because in the end, it's not about which player you cheer for. It's about respecting the ones who changed the game, and Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that. But there's always a turning point in every superstar's rise. The moment when admiration shifts to agitation. When the player who once captured everyone's attention becomes the one everyone else wants to beat. For Caitlin Clark, that moment came early, and as Gilbert Arenas puts it, she didn't just step into the villain role, she embraced it.
Caitlin Clark was a bad guy. She was the one that was with everybody, doing all this, waving, turning her back on everybody. Everybody's like, oh, she's a cocky little...
That kind of reaction only comes when you disrupt the rhythm of the game and shake opponents out of their comfort zone. Caitlin Clark isn't here to blend in, she's here to win. And sometimes winning looks like waving defenders off, walking away after a dagger, three, or carrying a confidence so sharp it makes people uneasy. Gilbert Arenas isn't criticizing that. He's spotlighting it because when a player rattles cages and still delivers every single night, that's not arrogance, that's power, and Arenas would know he was once that guy himself. A player who weaponized swagger and turned confidence into a weapon as dangerous as his jumper.